Hello, 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 and welcome back to another day in the woods where I am having a little bit of a slow start to the day. I have got what can only be described as like flu-like symptoms. It started with all over body ache, so I'm physically not feeling great, and it's starting to spread to my head and, headaches and so on, but nothing that a bit of paracetamol can't cure. And ultimately, like, if I had a job, it's one thing about me, it's very rare that I ever call in sick. Like, I have to be literally in hospital to call in sick to work. So yeah, if this was like a job, I'd still be cracking on with the house. But as it's been, I managed to have a break due to the way my kind of work days go together. I've had a bit of a break to figure out, or at least process what I was doing with the stud wall, and it's not great. That being said, it's not terrible. I've just made a couple of mistakes which I'm going to hopefully rectify today. The first one being is where I put my shower mixer tap. So I've obviously drawn a line here as like when I'm stood normally on the floor. This is like a really nice height for the shower mixer to go, but because I obviously know the bath was raised up, I drew another line here, which is where this is actually meant to be. Very frustrating. This is what happens when you don't really think about what you're doing before you do it. I was just kind of going with the flow. I had like in my head, I was like, I know exactly how to do this. It's perfectly fine, and everything about this is okay. But yeah, one, the shower mixer too low. It wouldn't really matter anyway. Like, even if you're stood in the shower, it's only literally like 15 centimeter difference. So it's not going to be too low if I leave it there. But one other thing I didn't think about is when I batten and board this wall, because I'm going to have battens that run down here, and they're going to be sticking board on top of that. Obviously, the thickness of this wall changes in relative to the batten I've already put on the wall for the stud work for the shower frame. So this is a bit of a problem. I say that it is literally it's a little problem, but basically I'll add my 25mm batten and then 12.5mm aqua panel to that, and that becomes my finished wall. So when I tried to screw my aqua panel in this side, I've got nothing to actually fix it to, so I need to run another batten from here all the way up to give me something to fit to or to screw into, because right now there's nothing there to screw in the corner. When it comes to the panel that I'm going to put on top of that, whether that's like PVC paneling, like shower wall panels, or tiles, I've not really decided yet. It doesn't really matter because that fits to the bath. But the aqua panel is obviously going to go behind the bath, so I need to consider that when building this wall up. So I'm just going to take my time today. Obviously, I feel pretty rough anyway, but hopefully we can get this all finished. If we're steady and I don't make any more mistakes. Apparently, the first problem that I highlighted with where my bar mixer is going to go isn't actually an issue. It's 110 centimeters off the ground, which is actually like an optimal height for a shower mixer. So I'm quite happy to leave this where it is. It's not going to cause any problems. It was just personal preference. I actually eyeballed it. I just stood there and was like, this feels about right, and I just put it there. I could raise it up, but to be perfectly honest, it's not the end of the world, it being ever so slightly lower, especially when this is primarily, it is the main bathroom for the house, but everyone in this household is smaller than me. So it's not really an issue for me to do that. And plus, sometimes you turn the shower on anyway when you're like stood outside the shower and lean around, and it's at the right height. So I think that's fine. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this extra batten in though. So I've got something to actually fix my aqua panel to, which is 903 for the bottom and then 1611 for the top. I just came downstairs to get my tripod and there's a bird stuck in the house. It's currently bouncing off the windows. It's only a tiny little thing, look at it. Aww. Oh, I was just about to approach it to let it out the door, but it's found its way back underneath. I do need to buy some, I'm just going to get some OSB, cut it to the same size as this door frame and just put a sheet of OSB up with a couple of screws. Stops the draft coming in and it just keeps that area closed off for the time being. Wasn't expecting that. Anyways, birds aside, let's get this measured up. So it's 90.3, which is Use our square. Get the saw in. I've not got my depth set right. Typical. Good start to the day. Are you serious? Third time's a charm. Did I at least measure it correctly? Yeah, that's fine. Alright, job very quickly fixed. I've just doubled up the battens. I have now got something to fix my aqua panel into on this side. Before I leave this section for stud work, what I'm now thinking is it'd be quite nice to make use of this like dead space that I've got back here by adding some shelves in that will be built in to like the shower wall. However, before I can consider doing that, I need to think about the soil stack, because that soil stack is going to come up so I can add a valve on the top, or it's called like an air admittance valve or duct or something along those lines. Basically, it stops the smells from that soil pipe coming into the room, because currently this room stinks. So to determine how high my soil pipe's going to come, I basically need to go 200 mil above the highest flood point, which will be the rim of my sink, which lies here, 850. Building regulations give that 200 mil allowance that I need to obviously go above. So what I'm going to do is go extra, because if this sink ever changes, the height of it may well change as well. I can't see it going higher than my pedestal and sink in the future, but just to cover all bases, I'm going to go a little higher. The minimum height I can go to is here, but I'm going to raise it by an extra 100 mil to here, which actually aligns very nicely with where I was originally going to put my mixer. So what it means is when I put this Durgo valve in, I can actually build a shelf at the height above my mixer tap, because obviously it's going down here now. Where I was going to put it, I can build a shelf there and then just create like a box, basically, for us to put stuff in. So you have your showers and like your shampoos and shower gels and so on. It can all go in the wall rather than having like racking or like putting it on the side, etc. After all, we might as well make the most of the stud wall and the space that we have behind it. So, time to get the saw out, cut some pipe. Beautiful. All we need to do is apply a little bit of lubricant. Always the weirdest part of doing this, but makes life a lot easier when you do it. So apply it liberally, as they say. It's stinky soil pipe over there. Yeah. That should then slot into that, like so, and then we'll add a bit of lube to the tap. It should help this Durgo valve slot in. Not really sure how this wizard stuff works, but hey, I'm not the plumber, so that. Oh, go in there. Maybe that's what it knocked it over. Is that good? That's it, I think. Sweet. All fitted. The more I sit here and think about this wall, the more I think it would be so much easier just to get rid of this window, because it's kind of in the way. It's like right behind the shower wall. It's also right behind like the toilet stud work as well, because I want to put shelves here, and because of this window frame, it makes my shelves smaller and a little odd. So I'm now contemplating whether I should cover it over or, yeah, trying to think of the best thing to do. Decisions have been made. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a batten from here all the way across the wall to the end, and then wherever I want the height of my shelf to be, so if that's the base of the shelf, I probably want it to be around here. I'm gonna run another batten from there all the way across. If I decide that I want to do something with the window later on, I can always work on it from the other side, and then I'll have two battens that run across here that I can kind of fit like a sheet of MDF to. I'm not going to lose much of the window. ultimately, it's just like a little gimmicky, like, kids thing anyway. So having a little figurine housing in this window frame isn't the end of the world. If I lose that, even so, like, as I say, I can pin some wood to it, and it's still a bit of space to do that anyway, so it's not a big deal. The only downside to doing this is I have no idea where the studs run after the window, because this stud here, it runs into the window. After the window, I don't know where any of the stud work is on, like, or the framework on the wall is, because it's all batten. It's not batten board. I've said that so many times. It's lath and plaster, so I don't really know where the studs are. So I'm just gonna fit those in and hope for the best. Well, this looks like a whole lot of wooden mess, but I have effectively a shelf that will fit. This is an incredibly large bottle, so if that fits there, it'll fit all shampoos. What I have also done is added structure at the back, so if I really wanted a very deep shelf, then I can have a deep shelf, but realistically, I feel like if it's this deep, which is very, very deep, we're just not going to utilize it, or we're just going to shove stuff in there, and it's just not necessary. The depth of this timber here is probably more than enough for like shower space, because realistically, you know, shampoo, conditioner, shower gel, Jess's toiletries as well. But I don't think we need more than that depth. So the only thing I need to do now is add a bit of structure to the back, so I've got something to fit my aqua panel to. As I mentioned, I did consider going full depth, so I could like aqua panel here, there, and fit to the back as well. And then I've got a really deep shelf, but I wasn't too sure until it was there what it would feel like. But now I'm going with the idea of obviously bringing it forward. So yeah, just need to add a couple of timbers in to pin to the back of these. And that should be the shower wall, he says. Basically done, with the exception, obviously, plumbing it in, which will take me 2 minutes to do that, to be honest. I do have a funny feeling that future me is going to regret doing the shelving thing. If I was tiling this wall, I don't think it would be a big deal. But the fact that I'm putting like PVC panels in there, I have no idea how that's going to go. I've never done it before, so yeah, I may have created more work for myself than necessary. But shelves are ready, fixers in, walls ready. I think I'm done now with the shower bit. Time to now focus on this wall. I have hung my cistern in place where it's going to go. Obviously, I need to cut this pipe back a little bit, but as you can kind of see, it's very flimsy all over the place, so I need to run a batten from there across so it sits nice and level. I have then also added a little bit of timber to the wall behind the flush pipe. I'm not entirely sure what the word is for it, but this pipe, so when I have this all set in place and cut to the right length, when I push my toilet into it now, it's not going to go anywhere. There's no room for this pipe to move. I think you can actually get a clip, so it, like the pipe clips onto that. I'd have to have a look for it. But yeah, now my cistern, when I do fit it permanently, I mean, to be fair, I could probably fit it now. There's no reason for me to wait. But I want to build up the rest of the first. And on top of that, this little like hole here, it's not meant to be there. I'm missing a panel for the system, which is annoying, so I need to email the company to get them to send me that part out. But yeah, that's all good to go, ready and set in place. The next part of this wall is figuring out where I want my shelves to run. Now, I don't really know what I was thinking when I just banged that up and double plated it. I'd have to watch the last video to remember or remind myself why I've done that. But to be fair, a combination of that day and today, my brain is still fragged. So I'm taking my time today, which is why I'm not necessarily filming me doing a ton of stuff, because I'm spending a lot of time thinking about what I'm doing, just to make sure I don't balls it up again. But what I'm thinking now is that across the back here, I'm going to run some more CLS. No, I'm not. Ignore me. I'm losing my brain. Not that I have much of it left. Honestly, I'm really struggling to process what I'm doing. It's not going well. What I do know is I'm going to treat this wall, the shower wall, differently to this one. It's a separate wall. because I'm trying to tie them both together. And ultimately, if I remember correctly, I don't need to because this is obviously going to be shower panels in the bath. It's a wet area. And then this area is different. I'm pretty sure I'm going to plasterboard this bit. So what I need to do is separate the walls and work from one way across. Otherwise, yeah, I'm trying to think too hard. It's hurting my head. Not because this is overly complicated, probably because I'm a little ill and various other bits and bobs. But obviously, I've got to put bands on the wall to give me something solid to fix to, rather than the lath and plaster. And then I've got to then put my framework in for what shelves I want and stuff. So it's just hurting my head a little bit. So I'm just going to start from one side and work my way across. The first thing I know that I need to do is I need a batten that runs all the way up, because when I come to do this side, it needs to have its own framework, because I can't use this because obviously the bath and the shower panels and stuff come up to the end of this piece of timber. So I'm going to need another piece of timber this side. Very similar to what I did here. I'm so very sorry for the mess that is this video. I probably shouldn't be filming or doing this today. Two minds are better than one. I don't necessarily need help, but it's better to have someone else's perspective on things, or someone to bounce off of. Like when I'm just, it's almost like I'm getting cabin fever. Like I'm in this room on my own, just working away. I mean, I'm starting to lose brain cells. Like I think in the first thing in the morning, I'm a bit more wired up, but like when it gets later and later onto the day, I'm just, yeah, it doesn't go very well. Okay, progress has been made. I figured it would be easier for my brain if I worked from like the outside in, because this wall is all going to be like, what's the word? Plastered over anyway, and I'm extending this wall across to this corner. So this framework at the end had to be here. With that in mind, if I was just to sheet this entire wall and not have shelves in here at all, this is kind of the framework I'd need, as well as like these two battens are like 400 centers. I need another one up there and another one up there. However, obviously I want to put shelves in. So now that I have effectively got framework up for where the wall will be, it will be a little bit easier for me to figure out in my head where and how to structure the shelves. This is the plan. So here is the shelf. So obviously toilet's going to go in the middle. There'll be a shelf here, shelf here, shelf here, and then I'll just box the rest of that in because it's going to be far too high. I could do like a cupboard that you can open and stand on a stool to get to it maybe. But as my brain is fragged, let's just do one thing at a time. Add a couple of uprights to like effectively frame up where the shelves are going to go. Just like that. All that is left to do is add a rail from here to here, so I have something to pin my board to underneath. We have our first shelf. Not entirely sure if I pointed out the fact that I added in this and this on both sides, so I can fix this way, I can fit across. I need to add one in the middle, but for the time being, while the system's not there, I'll leave that open for now. And I think I'm pretty sure I could just put my plasterboard straight into this. It's not structurally doing anything, so I think it's going to be fine. And there we have it, a batten across the top. So now I have a full shelf space right here. So I'll have a shelf that goes right here. I have another shelf here, as I've described many a time. But on the note of doing that, I'm going to quit whilst I'm ahead, because this day has, as you have seen, transpired into just a massive headache. I mean, combined with the headache that I have and the fact that my brain is just not working today, I think we're just gonna stop. We've got the shower wall pretty good to go. I obviously need to do plumb work for the shower. I need to do plumb work for obviously the cistern. The last couple of shelves, it shouldn't be that difficult now that I've kind of wrapped my brain around what I'm doing. I just need to add in a couple of noggins here and stuff, add the final shelf up there. And then the framework for this stud wall is done. It looks like such a mess. There is just wood everywhere. I don't think I have to stress about this thing ever falling down, because it is structurally not good. I've climbed on it to do up there, all sorts. It is very, very sturdy. Once I have like those final two shelves built, the last thing I need to actually do, outside of all the plumb stuff, is just finish off some work down here. But because I've got no floorboard there right now, there's no point me doing it this very minute. But I think we're not too far away from being able to board it all up, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it does look absolutely mad. But it works, and obviously once you board it all up, you're never going to see it anyway. It's just for me to know, I guess. What a day. Until next time, stud work. And on that somber note, I'm going to end today's vlog. It's one of those, it is what it is. Like, when you're not feeling yourself and you're trying to renovate a house and do everything else that's going on in life, it's quite the challenge. One thing I've not actually updated you on is, you can see it there, that black cable is the SWA cable, the armoured cable, that is now fed into the house, that goes through the trench all the way up to the garage. Now obviously I've not finished off the trench, but that is basically ready to go. It's in the house, it's not connected to anything, because I need to get the consumer unit changed and all that kind of stuff, and it's on the back burner. But that is a job that got completed the other day around the same time the kitchen got sorted. So it's nice that that's all in and ready to go. I'm still torn about whether I should spend some money and finish off the hookup at the top, because we're having internet issues still. Starlink is super stable, super good, but because of where the router is in the garage, it doesn't really reach very far. So the moment you walk out, you just get no internet. So I either need to set up like a Wi-Fi mesh or hook up the Ethernet so I can actually send internet from the garage down to the house, and vice versa if and when we get a landline in there. Anyway, I digress. I'm not going to rabbit on any longer for this vlog. I don't even know what this video was, to be honest. It was kind of one of those days where I'm like, I woke up and was like, I need to keep making some progress, and at the vlog's detriment, unfortunately. It's one of those. I think tomorrow is a day with the kids anyway, so I'm just gonna relax and try and recover as much as possible before touching the house again. I still need to place the order actually for the aqua panels, so I can move on to the next step after I finish this work of actually putting panels on the wall, which will actually change so much. It'll make the room feel so different once that starts going up, and I can actually start slotting in the bath and actually plumbing things in. Oh, I can't wait. I am excited. I shouldn't jump too far ahead because there's still lots of other stuff to do, but anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you made it to this far in the video, then God help you. I'm sorry. But yeah, big shout out to the guys over on Patreon as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, much love. Bye bye. Yeah, so the and then I can run a batten here, and then I've got like something solid to fix to. So yeah, that'll go there. Then I've got something to fix to on the bottom, something to fix on the side. I'm slowly losing my mind. I've just not got enough brain cells to do this today.